What's up, guys? This little DJI Neo drone, it's pretty cool. It's a good value, $199. But DJI dropped the ball on a couple things, and I'm going to tell you what they are. This thing could have been so much more useful, especially to people in my field that are kind of doing Jeep or motorcycle related things. So let me tell you where DJI fell through with this thing. It's a selfie drone, and that's how it's marketed, but it didn't have to just be a selfie drone. This thing has the capabilities to fly with the FPV headset, to fly with a controller, so many things you could do with this, but they dropped the ball. So number one issue, there's actually three. Number one issue is that this can't track or follow anything but a person. That's right, it can't follow a Jeep. It can follow you on a motorcycle or a bicycle because it sees the person, not the motorcycle or the bicycle. There's a lot of things we do in Jeeps and motorcycles that are slow, and the 12, 13, 14, 15 miles an hour this thing can do is plenty enough. Hard enduro, single track trail riding, the Jeeping we do in certain obstacles. This thing can only track a person, doesn't work if you're sitting in a Jeep. So that was just a huge fail. It's just a software issue. So why couldn't they just make this thing track a vehicle? If you drive too fast and it loses it, who cares? Just put a big disclaimer that it can only go a certain speed. There's a lot of things you do in vehicles that are extremely slow. What's the deal? Secondly, not being able to take off on this without AI. That is absolutely stupid. So, let me tell you what I mean. Let's say that I know an event is going to happen right in front of me. Something's going to happen here. Somebody's going to drive their Jeep through. Somebody's going to drive a bike through. Something's going to come through. I can't just use my hand and let this drone do takeoff and sit here and record. I can't do it. I have to whip out my phone, and I have to bring up the DJI app, connect to the app, wait for everything to initialize, take off, fly the drone, press record. It's annoying, and yes, it's doable, but you can do that with any drone. So what's the point of a selfie drone you're supposed to be able to use without your hand, or without your phone or controller, with just your hand? What's the point if I have to have a person right there? It has to see a person before it will take off. Now, there are tricks. You can kind of put it in spotlight mode and let it see you and take off, and then kind of like duck under it, and it kind of works. But if anybody walks into this area, it's going to pick them up and it's going to rotate the direction they go. And the issue I have with this is when we're filming Jeeps or motorcycles, we like to put the camera at different spots, right? Normally we have to carry around a big tripod with a camera on it. You set your tripod on the ground. You're trying to find a stable place for it. This gets rid of all that. You don't need to do any of that. You could literally just say, hey, there's going to be action right here in front of me. Take off, film it. Oh, okay, you're done. Leave my hand out, land. Okay, there's going to be action over here. There's going to be action down there. That's it. It just needs to be a camera that can sit here and fly. And they dropped the ball. It cannot be done. I've confirmed that with DJI support, and got into some pretty verbal arguments with other Neo fanboys on the Facebook group. It cannot be done. Huge blunder. Let me tell you another one. I thought, well, maybe I can drive the Jeep and my son can fly this behind the Jeep and get some shots over some technical sections or something like that. That won't work unless you're using a controller. If you have the controller, you still need the phone so you can see what you're doing. You can't do it with just your phone because when you take off connected to your phone, there's a 50-meter max. So right where we're at, I can make it, down there to that road, and that's about it. Now, I understand the Wi-Fi range from the phone is limited, but what I don't understand is if my phone is in the Jeep and the Jeep is moving, why wouldn't the Wi-Fi range move with the phone And as long as the drone knows it's still in range and still has connection to the phone, why wouldn't it just keep going? I've tested this thoroughly. It doesn't. And so I could drive the Jeep 50 meters and I can literally just reach my hand out the window, land it for a second, take back off, and do it again. And it's extremely annoying. I don't understand it. It seems like they dropped the ball there too. So what is this really good for? It's a selfie drone. It's for if you want to take pictures of yourself. And that's what I find myself using it for. I wanted to use it for Jeeps and bikes and bicycles and stuff like that, and you just can't. And so I end up just using it for pictures of me and the kids playing in the yard, or, you know, you're standing on a rocky cliff and you want to get a circle shot or something like that. And I mean, yeah, that's cool, but most of the stuff I'm doing, I need more function out of my drone. So I'm not going to carry this too. I'm just going to use my other drone to get those shots. This is just for people that want to take pictures of themselves constantly, I think. So yeah, it's worth $199. You can have a little fun with it, fly it inside, but man, it could have been so much more useful. They try to make things so automated where it can't take off without AI. Because they think people are so stupid, they can't use it without that. And really, they just make the product worse when they lock it down like that. So that's my rant about 2 or 3 things where DJI dropped the ball on the Neo. The Flip just got announced, and to me, the Flip is even more retarded than this. It's like $779. It takes up more space than this, even when it's folded. And even that Flip, an $800 drone, can't track onto a Jeep or a motorcycle. It can only track onto people too. So I don't know what they're thinking with that. Makes 0 sense. So no, not much use for the Neo. No use for the Flip for me. I'll be waiting for the DJI Mini 5 more than likely. So at least I can just use the RC3 remote with the screen, and at least I won't have to pull a phone out. I can just keep a remote and a drone charged and go with that. That seems to be the best option. But if anybody else knows of a drone that you can use without a phone, without a remote, without any other device, and you can simply point it somewhere and tell it to take off and let it sit there and hover and film until you want to land it, please let me know, because I'll get it in a heartbeat. Thanks, guys. See you in the next one.